Hello everyone. Let me allow you to speak so that in case you have any doubt you can speak. Give me a second. Can you hear me guys? Hello. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. Give me a minute and then we'll start.
Okay.
Okay. So let me first give you my brief background and then we start. My name is Rupinder Monga. I've been training for almost 12 years, right? So I started not 12, 11 years actually. So I've started my training career. So basically I started training students in 2010 February, and I have been training since then. I train anything on finance analytics, so anything in finance like CFA, FRM, or financial modeling, project finance. And in analytics basically I teach marketing analytics, churn analytics, or maybe um, business analytics, or it's part of machine learning. My education background is I did my engineering from IIT Delhi in 2005 in mechanical engineering. Then I did masters in financial management from Europe. Then I moved. I'm also a FRM chartered. I did clear CFA level 1, but the requirement was FRM, so I became FRM charter. These days I'm working in purely finance. I'm in Canada. I recently moved to Canada. Majority of my work has been in India, but the consulting part, I have been to 26 countries. So that's my brief background. If you have any doubts, anything, please let me know then and there, and we can discuss. And if you think I'm going fast or slow, please let me know. We can adjust the pace. Okay, so let's understand basically risk part. So it's discussion about risk management, why it is important and what we can do about it. So mainly is FRM is what we are going to discuss around risk management. Now when we say risk management, we do it in our personal lives also, and every company does it for their companies, right? Now when we talk about companies, when the name risk management comes, or finance comes, mainly in our minds, at least in my mind, comes like I banks or commercial banks, so or and financial companies come in our mind. But in reality, risk management is required for each and every company, be it manufacturing company, be it a service company, be it a finance company. uh, Guys, can you hear me? He's not able to hear me. Okay, so Aditya, others are able to hear me. Could you please check your speakers or restart? Okay, and I see a hand raise also. Who raised hand? Okay, thank you. Somebody raised hand. Okay, no one. Thank you. Okay, so I was saying, okay, So I was saying that basically risk management is required in each and every company, uh, because they need to manage finances, they need to manage money. So wherever the money part comes, every one of us need to manage that. Now let's talk about basically how exactly companies require risk management. So now if I talk about, and if you go for risk for an FRM also, or any risk management certification or study, you will note that there are mainly three kinds of risk. One is credit risk, another is market risk, and third is operational risk. In reality, risk can be divided into like several different kind of categories, but these are mainly three kinds of categories in which broadly we can divide risk. Now when we talk about credit risk is when we give money to each other, right? So if you lend me the money, so you face credit risk if I might default. Now if I talk about default itself doesn't mean that I don't pay you. I mean, this is one part. It also means that I don't pay you as per our agreement. Okay, so for example, you gave me $100 and I promised to give you back $100 by Saturday, but I paid you back on Sunday. Even that is considered as a default because I did not pay you by Saturday. That's what we agreed on. So that's a credit risk. Now, so every company which has dealings, for example, with people regarding money, they face credit risk. For example, manufacturing company, they give cars, let's say it's an automobile manufacturing company like Maruti Suzuki or Hyundai. So let's say Hyundai is providing cars to their dealers on credit. Now if their dealers don't pay on time, that is a credit risk. Market risk is basically where we talk about finance companies. So where you're, I mean, it applies on normal companies also. So market risk is that because of the movement in the, let's say, currency, or maybe your interest rates, these things movement in the market, it is affecting you. That is called market risk. So if you are, let's say, Hyundai is or Maruti is exporting vehicles outside India, so the money is, let's say, in Europe, so money will come in euros. But if rupee depreciates or appreciates against euro, then that company is facing market risk. Right now, the major risk of market risk is for finance companies. Then we have operational risk. Now operational risk, you can avoid credit risk within a company, you can avoid market risk within a company, but you cannot avoid operational risk. And it is very very difficult to measure operational risk. Operational risk is while operating, right? So we operate companies. When we operate companies, there is an operational risk. Operational risk can be machine failure, uh, employee strike, earthquake. So anything which can cause your operations to halt, or anything which affects your operations, is called operational risk. So even if any company, they don't have anything near to your finances or money, even then they face operational risk, right? So understanding of these kind of risk is very important for company to survive, especially in case things are not going good in the market or for the company. It's very important. So now, why risk? So that's why risk management is important for companies, and because of this reason only, during downturn or during things are going bad, usually, so I'm saying usually, risk management department is the department which is fired the last. So what happened in 2008, 2010, 2009 financial crisis, or because of COVID. So risk management teams were, I mean, they were the last one to go. Earlier, other departments were fired first, because you need to manage risk, right? Especially after 2008, 2009, the importance of risk management people have increased huge, because they know they need to manage risk, because risk caused the financial crisis. Okay, so that's why risk management is important. And but the thing is that how companies will get to know that you are interested in risk management, or you can do something in risk management. There comes education. You can go for some kind of formal education like MBA, not MBA, like masters related to risk, or we can do some certification, and that certification, and the gold certification, or the most common certification is financial risk manager, FR. Any doubts, guys, till now? Okay. Okay. So FRM, if I quickly tell you, you might already know what exactly is FRM. FRM is basically, it's a certification, and it's basically the body of FRM is GARP. GARP. GARP is Global Association of Risk Professionals. It's the largest authorized, basically largest risk related certification in the world. And we have basically around, you can say, 40,000 people, 400,000 people have appeared for this FRM certification till now. And every year, like in last 10 years, and every year some, like around 40% get selected, around 40%, so that ratio is not fixed. Okay, so now there are many other certifications in the market, and we'll discuss another certification which is called PRM after discussing FRM, and we'll see that which one is important. Now if we talk about FRM exam itself, there are two parts, part 1 and part 2. Now for part 1, even an undergrad can appear for part 1, and FRM 2, the main uh, criteria or requirement is you have to clear FRM 1. So for 2 you need to clear 1, that's all. Okay, now uh, the benefits, as you know, the main thing is, it's not about like 15 years, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, everyone was like, well, we have to do MBA, right, for extra benefit, right? And like 30, 50, 40 years ago, everybody was doing bachelor's, then they were started doing postgraduate MBA, right? Now with time, everybody starts doing something, we need something extra, and right now that extra is some kind of certification, and that can be CFA, FRM, depending on what is your target. So if your target is risk management, then FRM should be your choice for extra edge. Because if let's say you and I have same credentials, like we have studied from the same college, same kind of experience we have, what is our extra edge? What will give the recruiter uh, to call you for the interview? Now in interview, obviously it depends on the knowledge you have, but we need to reach to that seat or that room where they can take our interview, right? That requires some kind of extra edge, and FRM is one of the edge we can take today. Because if everyone has the same credentials, they cannot call everyone who applied for the job. We need something extra to show, that is FRM. Okay, now many people ask me uh, what kind of jobs we can get, or what kind of salaries we can get. The answer is not simple. So if someone tells you that salary is, let's say, 10 lakh per year, just an example, and somebody says no, it's 20 lakhs per year, somebody says no, it's 5 lakhs per year, there is no fixed answer. The answer depends on other things also. It's an extra edge. It is not like that, okay, after this you'll get this much salary. It's not an a full course, right? So if you go for IM, you have a range that what will be your salary. So let's say if you are an MBA, let's say you have done MBA from IIM, and I'm FRM, obviously they will give you preference to you rather than me. But if you are from I am from IM, but you are IM plus FRM, they will give you the preference, at least at the start. Obviously, if everything else is same, then you will get selected. But if uh, in the interview I do better, then obviously they will pick me. But the idea is to call for the interview, they will look for something extra. Yes, I see hand raise by Reena. Tell me.
So it's like, how different is this from MBA?
Okay, so this is, first of all, MBA is general, right? So
Yeah,
if you're doing 2 year MBA, for 1 year you will be studying marketing, you will be studying finance, you will be studying strategy, everything, and then
right.
in the second year you will go for something specialization, maybe finance, maybe something else.
Yeah,
That
strategic
is the full
management.
course, right?
Okay. Right.
In this, the pure focus is not in only finance, but the pure focus here is the risk part. Okay, in
Okay.
the part one, in FRM, you will understand what kind of financial products are there, how the markets move, how what kind of risks are there. In part two, pure risk education will be there, right? So that is
Okay.
entirely different from an MBA. But yes, if you talk about, let's say, any third rated college MBA in India, and FRM is much better than that because it has global standards. So my
Okay.
recommendation is that we cannot actually, or we should not compare FRM with MBA, because MBA is different class and FRM is a different class. So if you and I have the same education, then if you have FRM extra, then you will be given the preference, right? And the same thing goes for the salary also. For salary, let's say we both have the same education, same experience, but you have FRM, they will give you higher salary. So it's not, let's say if I am guys getting salary of 20 lakhs per annum, and if I do FRM, it's not that I will start getting, and but my background is not from IM, so I'll not start getting 20 lakhs, right? So it depends on my other education, my other experience. So I give an example to everyone actually who asks me whether to go for these kind of certifications like CFA, FRM. I give them two examples, one for FRM, one for CFA. Let me give them to you, and that is actual examples which I've seen, not happened with me, but with my friends actually. Friends, not like I've not just seen them. It has happened with my friends. So I'll give you an example of FRM. It was like in 2012 around. Okay, so in 2012 there was a job opening. So why I'm giving you that old example, because I'm trying to show the importance of FRM. It was 8 years ago also, now it has more importance now these days. So that time there was a job opening from World Bank, their Chennai office. They have a office in Chennai, and the requirement was like you should have financial management experience or these kind of experience, plus you should have either FRM or PRM. We are going to, that's why I said we are going to discuss PRM also. So the requirement was you have to be FRM or PRM. So if you are not FRM or PRM, they will not call you for interview, right? So at that time, when this job was there, I was not FRM, so I was not, I did not apply for the job, but my friend applied for that job. Okay, so when my friend applied for the job, and he actually ultimately got the job. But you look for this, right? So if I would have like had this certification at that point of time, charter, FRM charter, I could have at least applied. So half of the jobs these days, especially these days, at that point of time, not every job required FRM, but half of the jobs these days, they at least mention that FRM or CFA is a plus. Okay, so if you are FRM or CFA, it will give you an extra edge. Otherwise, right, we will not be able to apply for the job. So this is required.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, so then that is one example. Now if I, Amit, you have your hand raised. Okay.
Yeah, I just wanted to understand, is FRM considered as a subset of ERM?
Not exactly. So ERM is enterprise risk management. You're saying? Hello.
Hello?
Do you mean ERM means enterprise risk management?
Yes.
No, they are different, right? So FRM is purely focused on financial risk, right? But and ERM is kind of um, broader concept, right? It's kind of holistic approach. But if we go for ERM, we will I mean ERM is not that. There is a certification on ERM also, but it does not have that importance these days, which FRM has. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Then, so what I was just saying, second example I wanted to give you about CFA, and it applies to any kind of certification, which is good. Okay, so two of my friends, they passed out from Delhi University, same batch, okay, same college, almost same percentage, like not same, but similar percentage. They joined the same company. Okay, so their education is same experience they have started. They were in the same team, almost everything was happening same for 2 years. One of them started appearing for CFA, so he cleared CFA 1, CFA 2. Okay, after 2 years they both decided let's look for a job, and they switched. Now when they joined in 2011 10, I think around that time they joined, so their salary was like 2 lakhs per annum, right? And by the time both left, their salary was 3.5 or something. Now when they left, one person who did not go for CFA or anything, she actually got I think around 6 lakhs, around that number, and the other one got 8 lakh package, right? I'm not saying that the only reason will be CFA, but there will be some input from the CFA side also, right? So these two examples I always give an example, because I've seen the importance of FRM and CFA, and that's why I say if you decide, go for something, at least something, right? So depending on your interest, depending on your target, if you are looking for finance, then if general finance, go for CFA. If you are looking for specific risk management, then go for FRM. Okay, so that's why it's important for something, right? Now if I talk about curriculum is like what exactly we cover in, I mean, the exam require in part 1 and part 2. Part 1, it's general, like, so it has quants, so around 20% is weightage of quants. Then we have foundation, sorry, risk management. And quants, it's mainly you can talk about is statistics they talk about. Foundations of risk management mainly talk about introduction to risk management and some part of uh, portfolio management or these kind of things. Then we have FMP, which is financial markets and products, where we discuss basically about different kind of financial products which are there in the market. Then we have valuation and risk models. Okay, again 30%. Then part 2 is basically in detail risk. So we have market risk, measurement and management, 20%, around that number. And then we have credit risk, measurement and management, again 20%. Then we have liquidity and treasury risk management, 15%. Then we have operations. Remember I told you that it can be divided into market risk, credit risk and operation risk. Operation risk around 20. So these names are not exact name, I'm just giving you basically overall. Then current issues, 10%. Current issues basically talk about uh, what's happening these days, so different case studies which has happened recently. Then risk management and investment management, so 15%. So that's how we divide. So if you talk about like part one, more than 60-70% are numerical based, like uh, we need to understand concept and calculate some things. That is part one. Part two is majority is theory. There are like questions on calculation, but more than 50-60% you can say comes on theory. So there's no fixed rule at how they come, but that's overall seen, you can say. When quants is like 80% is you can say numerical, foundations majority is theory, FMP is more than 50% is numerical, valuation is more than 50% numerical. In these it's purely, not purely, but majority of them are theory based. Okay, now both are 4 hour exam. Okay, these have 100 questions and these have 80 questions. Okay, that is basically part 1 and part 2. Okay, and earlier there used to be like early bird, or I mean there used to be three kinds of fees. These days there is only two kinds of fees, like early bird and standard registration. Earlier it was early, standard and late registration. uh, Fees is same in the sense for part 1 and part 2. It's normal early registration $550 and standard registration $750. But in FRM1, once you register the first time, there is a registration fees or enrollment fees of $400. So that is extra when you do the register first time. Once you register, you don't need to pay this fees again. And depending on if you're registering uh, in the early bird, 550, and then it's 750. Exams are offered, part 1 exams are offered May, July and November. Part 2 are May and December. Now the May exam, I would always recommend, rather than giving the same exam in, let's say, both the exams in May, give one in May and maybe next in December. So have a gap in the same sense, because simple reason is that they will not even check these things before you clear part 1, right? So I personally recommend have a gap of 3 4 6 months, whatever time period you think is good for you. Then give the part 2, so that you know you have cleared part 1, and then you are opting for part 2. I mean, I'm not judging anyone, because I myself, I gave into like separately. Then exams used to be in May and November only. Okay, and you could give exam on the same day also, in the morning part 1 and evening part 2. But I would prefer, I mean, I preferred part 1 and part 2 separately, and I'll recommend the same to you also. Okay, that you have sufficient time to prepare and crack the exam. And that's about the FRM. Now many people ask from where you can study. Rupali, you have, okay, hand raised. Okay, yes, do you have a question?
Yes. Do
Yeah.
you, like, if we do this course, like, do you run any kind of classes or provide any kind of placement
So
opportunities after completing the?
EduPristine does that. I mean, I'm just a trainer, so I don't work with EduPristine full time. I mainly give the training on FRM, but yes, EduPristine provides placement services. So it's not guarantee, but it's assistance in the sense they will help you in preparing your CV if you require that one. Okay, and they have come.
Like,
Sorry.
my question is specifically related to interviews. Like, will they
Yeah,
give?
I'm coming to that. So basically, that let me tell you the full process. Okay, so FRM, if you clear FRM, right, you'll get hard skills, right? You get technical skills. So first thing what education gives is it gives you soft skills also. So there are classes on like communication or these kind of things, so that you should be ready with soft skills. First part is that. So they will you can attend those classes if you feel that you need extra preparation for soft skills. That's the first part. So these are general skills they give you, okay. And basically when we go for an interview, it's not only technical skills, it's plus how we present ourselves, right? So they give you these trainings separately with no extra charge along with the normal training. Then they also give you like they help you in CV preparation if you need one, plus if you need separate interview skills, I mean any preparation, you can ask and they will provide you that. And what do I mean by separate is mainly what they do is they have contacts. Education has contacts with many companies. So companies come to Education asking that, okay, do you have this students or basically anyone with this kind of profile for this job, right? So they will look for, so first they will ask everyone, are you interested in applying for jobs? If yes, provide your CVs. So you will provide CVs to Education. Education will then, every time a company comes, and Education will look for that particular CV which matches, and then to all those who are matching, they will email that, okay, there is a job opportunity like this, do you want to apply? If you say yes, then they will apply on your behalf. Obviously there are no charges from Education. And then you, if you get selected for interview, then you can ask for some help that, okay, what, how you should appear, or how should you should prepare for that interview, okay. So that kind of help Education gives for placements assistance.
Okay, and these classes would be online?
So because of usually they are I mean before COVID it was one to one, I mean not one to one, I mean face to face. But now because of COVID most of things are happening online.
Okay, and like this question would be odd, but this is like worldwide recognized course, right?
Yeah.
So do this course like this institute, does it provide placements for outside India?
So I don't have that knowledge exactly what kind of companies they do, but my knowledge, mostly what I understand is they do it inside India.
Oh,
Okay, because outside India require many other things also, like visa and work permits.
okay,
So I don't think they are into this, but you can obviously confirm these things from the person you are in touch with.
okay. Thank you, sir.
Okay.
That
Yes, Mayur, you have your hand raised.
Yeah, hi Rupinder.
Yeah.
My question is, how would you recommend this to the person who are already into bank's operation or handling bank's operation from last 4 to 5 years? So will
So
it be helpful for them also?
So again, so at start I said something that if it interests you, right? So
Hmm.
if you have the interest in entering into risk management, right? So
Hmm.
then obviously this is the right certification. But if you want to just grow in the field you are in, then you need to see which field you are working in. If you are just working in operations and you want to remain in operations, then this is not the right certification for you. Okay.
Okay.
But if you want to enter into risk management, then this is the right. Uh, Otherwise, you can look for maybe CFA, depending on exactly what you want. So I'll in give me some time. I'll explain the main difference between CFA and FRM in some
Okay.
time. Okay. Yes, Pooja, you have your hand raised.
Yeah, sir. I just wanted to know what are the opportunities for risk management in Canada, uh,
Okay.
particularly.
So risk management jobs are everywhere. First of all, okay. Now, be it Canada, be it US, be it India. Okay. Now the benefit of FRM. Okay. So I wanted to give difference between FRM and PRM, but let me give right away. So FRM is a US. Basically, it's recognized very good in within companies in US and Canada, right? Now for at least for CFA, the biggest, these all these like CFA, FRM, they have their societies. So Canada, Toronto is the biggest hub for CFA society, right? The maximum number of members are there in Canada. So as in Canada, companies do recognize these FRM and CFA. So if you have this kind of, and if you go online, for example, and search for jobs in banking, right? So you will see either that okay, uh, CFA or FRM, or there are other certifications within Canada that are always a plus. So they will say if you're CFA, or maybe in accounting role CPA, or in other role risk role FRM is a plus in the job description, and that will be written, right? So if you have these things, they will at least call you for an interview if you are in Canada, because if you apply from India, then there's a work permit thing along with that. That's a different thing. Okay.
Okay, thanks. And another question I had was, if we do not have any financial product knowledge in depth, so can we still pursue FRM? And is it not necessary to go for CFA first? Uh, Considering that this is after CA, this is the next course for us, so we don't have that in-depth knowledge of financial products as such. So is FRM going to give us that edge also?
If you have the work experience or no knowledge, then it's easier for you to clear. That's the only difference it makes. Okay. So if you don't have that knowledge, it requires extra effort. Okay. So when I started appearing for this, the first time I entered into CFA, actually when I first gave CFA level 1 and then I gave FRM, when I gave CFA 1, I did not have a single knowledge about any product. I didn't even know that what exactly is there in finance. So everybody was doing it. I started searching that okay, should I do it or not? Then I finally decided that I should go for CFA. I mean, first, then I appeared for CFA. When I cleared, then when I started working in the field, I could understand that okay, FRM is for me, not CFA. Then I uh, went for FRM. So so I did not have any knowledge and I could clear CFA. And I think if you don't have any knowledge, if you put the right amount of effort, you will be able to clear these exams. They're not that difficult.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. So I was going to give you the difference between CFA and FRM. Now CFA is mainly for people who are into or who want to enter into portfolio management. Okay. So like CFA 1 talks about everything in CFA, I mean in finance, and then as you move to CFA 2, CFA 3, it moves towards more about like portfolio management. So if you want to enter into investment management or these kind of iBanking, these kind of things, then CFA is better fit for you. But if you want to look for, especially for risk can be in any company like finance or non-finance companies, then you should go for FRM. Now, many people say that we don't know if we want to go to risk or FRM. Now, CFA is, I can say, more general, right? So that's why, at least if you go for CFA 1, you will get to know each and every field of finance because it touches on everything. But if you go for FRM, it is specialization in risk and it has in-depth knowledge. Basically, you will get to know about less topics but in depth. But in CFA, it will be more topics, less depth. So width is more in CFA and depth is more in FRM. So these things you can help you decide that which course or which certification you should go for. Okay. Now, one can say there are more number of jobs with CFA available, but what I've seen is that less number of jobs are with FRM. But again, depending on the requirement, like my requirement was FRM. Okay, those jobs require FRM, not CFA. Okay, so depending on what exactly is your target, you can decide CFA or FRM. Clear? So FRM, you can go to any kind like different companies. Now in India, mainly FRM works with, to be very frank, either with mainly with like banks or like finance companies. Okay, or like it can be like EY or PwC, Deloitte, or maybe it's a bank like UBS or Deutsche Bank or HSBC or other banks, Morgan Stanley. So big banks these days, CFA and FRM has become so important. Like SBI is helping their employees to appear for these kind of exams. So SBI is arranging for trainings so that their employees could clear these exams. That kind of importance these certifications are getting. Okay, now outside India, I mean in US, Europe, you can get jobs with FRM in non-finance companies also, because everybody requires risk management. Okay, now I was telling you, I'll tell you the difference between FRM and PRM. Okay, now FRM is mainly basically you can say works worldwide. PRM is more of like Europe thing. Okay, so PRM, if you look for PRM, only global. I mean, in India, within India, not many companies have heard about PRM. In US also, not all companies have heard about PRM. So, but in UK or Europe, then PRM is more famous. So if you want to go to, for example, remain if you want to remain in India, or you want to go to US or Canada, or then go for FRM. But if you have specific that okay, no, I want to go to UK, then PRM is slightly better than FRM. But it doesn't mean that FRM doesn't work in UK. It works, right? But in UK, FRM and PRM both works. In PRM, there are 4 exams, different topics, different exams. There's no overlapping, and you can give any exam anytime, almost the same fees. Okay, and you can give, so there are specific dates. Okay, you will go and you can give exam. I mean, they'll say in these 3 months, on these 10 dates, you can give exam, and you can go and just give those exams. Okay, in any order, and all of them together also you can give. So that is the difference. Then I already explained that EduPristine, how exactly it helps, right? So EduPristine will provide you this training plus the placement assistance. EduPristine started in 2008, and their first course was what they launched was FRM. Okay, so they have been training for more than 13 years. Okay, and their specialization is financial topics. Okay, so that is EduPristine. EduPristine has trained in different companies, like special courses related to finance or other things, in maybe KPMG, ENY, Bank of America, JP Morgan, HSBC, other companies in India, outside India also. As I told you that I've traveled to 26 countries for training. uh, that was mainly because of EduPristine. Okay, when I say mainly, 80% of the travel, 90% of the travel was because of EduPristine, of these trainings. Okay, then EduPristine has also delivered training in top colleges like ISB, IIT Delhi, IMC, BITS Planning, FMS kind of things, right? So that is basically EduPristine. EduPristine also, um, basically the faculty are mostly either, so they are FRM charter plus they work in basically industry. So you know exactly what is required in the industry from those trainers, and regular feedback is taken. So if basically, let's say in the batch, let's say I'm training you, and so it's always a frequency match, right? So if I'm training you and in the first class itself all of you think that I'm not a good trainer, you can give the feedback and education will take action on that. If everybody does not like me, obviously they will change the trainer. Okay, and then education gives placement training. Now the training with itself is 75 hours of training is there. 75 hours of training. Okay, and then 15 hours of revision class. Revision class. So revision is um, basically the repetition of important topics and these kind of things. Now usually it happens in basically classroom face to face, but because of COVID, everything is happening online. So you'll get that online training and you will get the recording of this training. And then there are mock tests, 4 days. So four mock tests are there. You can give those mock tests and basically get the review, basically what's happening with each and every question. So that is about the training provided by EduPristine. Any doubts? Any questions you guys have? You want to ask anything? No questions? Surprising. Okay. Yes, Shashikant. Yes, you raised your hand, Shashikant.
Okay, sorry, I just unmuted myself.
Okay.
My question is that after FRM 1 clear exam, how many months it is valid score till the second exam is given?
I think I did not face it myself, but I think it's in years, not months, that you can have. I think 4 years.
Okay, in 4 years means it's sufficient time. Just I wanted to just ask this. Is it sufficient? Okay.
Uh, Let me check it to be exact. Okay, so 5 years.
Okay, it's more than sufficient. Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, but I think I gave exam. I think now after 3 4 years. I mean, I did not uh, require it, but finally I gave it after 3 4 years. I didn't even check, but it was valid at that point of time. So
Okay.
yeah, yeah. Anyone else? Okay, so if I go for exactly website of this gap, it is 4 years. 5 years if you clear FRM2, and then basically uh, experience you need to share for your FRM charter. You need to have experience up to 10 years prior to passing both exam is applicable, right? So, and for 5 years it is valid that you need to give within 5 years for to get the charter. 4 years after FRM1 you can give FRM2. Okay. Anyone else? Any other doubts? No doubts. Okay, so I'll give you my LinkedIn ID. I mean, you can search for Rupinder Monga. In case you have any doubts, I will try my best to help you. And you guys can, I mean, ask me questions regarding anything about FRM or in general. If you have any, I will try my best up to my knowledge, and I will try to help you. Anything you want to ask? Anything? But in case you want to ask anything related to FRM offering that I would not be able to tell you because that is specific to EduPristine, then you can get in touch with the person you are in touch with. And so basically, um, that's what you can do it. And I mean, the sales counselor who is already in touch with you, he or she will obviously get back to you to ask if you have any further questions. Earlier it was so Hashim is asking, is FRM exam online? uh, but it used to be paper based. Now it is CBT, like computer based testing. Okay, going forward, they are ending the paper based in May 2021, which is now, next month basically, and after that everything will be computer based. Okay, any other questions, guys? Anything?
Okay, Rupin. Shashi.
Sorry.
Shashikant this sir.
Yeah,
The both exams are optional based or theory based, like descriptive and like this.
option.
Both exams, level one
Yeah,
and two.
options. Okay. Hashim is saying, can we take the test from home? No, we have to go to the centers. There are various centers. Uh, Isha is asking, do we have negative marking? No, it does not have negative marking. So I always say, even if you don't know the answer, please answer. Uh, what's the charter requirement? 2 years of experience in risk is required. So if you can prove that you have worked in risk, it doesn't mean that you have to be in banking or any other. Yes, in Hyderabad there is a center. Hashim. Any other?
Hey Rupinder.
Yeah,
Hi, this is Manisha.
yeah.
I wanted to ask, so how do we correlate this, or how is it useful for someone who's more from an accounting or a corporate finance background, right? Say somebody who's a CPA, for example. So
Okay.
how do we?
So if you basically are CA or CPA or any other accounting field, now depending on where you want to go. For example, let's
Right,
say you want to enter into banking, just banking, right? So then I will not suggest you FRM, I will suggest you CFA. But if you have in mind that, okay, no, I want to go to risk part, then obviously FRM. Then second thing is, many CAs, they ask me that how exactly they are going to prove that they have worked in risk related
right,
portfolio, so that they can get the charter after clearing it, right?
correct, right,
Now the thing is, after clearing FRM2, you can give prior, previous experience also, you can provide new experience also to get the charter. Okay. Now, for people working in accounting,
mm-hmm.
audit experience, you can show it as, people show it as risk experience, because in audit, you basically handle the risk part, right? You
Right,
are trying to find out that if there is any fraud or any kind of things. So if you have worked in that risk part, then obviously that you can get the charter. So if you are in accounts, if you want to remain in accounts in audit, then FRM can be a good part. But
mm-hmm.
if you are not working in audit and you don't want to work in audit, and but you want to
Yeah,
remain in accounting, then this is not for you. Okay.
correct. Okay, yeah,
If you so yeah, so depending on what exactly you want, you can choose CFA or FRM.
right. Because that would mean a total career shift also, right?
Yes,
Like if
yeah.
somebody wants to, yeah. Okay, got it.
Okay.
Thank you.
No. Anyone else? Okay, so if we don't have any doubts, anything, um, we can stop here. And you have my LinkedIn ID. In case you want to approach, please approach, and I will try my best to answer your queries. And for training purposes, people from adversary will contact you, and if you have any doubts, you can ask them directly also.
Okay,
Thank you, guys.
thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, Hashim, is this?
Thank
Yeah, Hashim is asking, is this one time validity? Lifetime validity? Yes, it is lifetime validity for if after you get the charter, right? So if you get, let's say, level one clear, but don't clear level two within 4 years, then it's gone. Okay, and after clearing FRM2, if you don't get the charter within 5 years, then it's gone. Okay, so you have to get the charter after 5 years of this, and then it's lifetime. Okay. Thank you, guys. Take care.
Thank you.
Bye.